Honey, that is so smart. The old potato masher trick. Little do these ducks know that some of them are up next after the roosters. Hey guys, I'm Kaylyn and welcome back to Fable Hill Farm. We are processing some of our Muscovies today, and this was a requested video, and I wanted to take you guys along and show you from start to finish what this looks like. I was actually going to keep this hen because she is mature, but because I'm getting 2 hens from my friend who breeds Muscovies in Greenville, Kristen, that are more suitable for my breeding program as far as color, I am gonna cull this hen as I want to remove black, which is the dominant and wild type color of Muscovies, from my breeding program entirely. So having butchered the Muscovies before, what is the main difference now that you just did the chickens and how you know, process them?
We're probably just going to take the breasts and legs off this bird's. Just a lot of work to pluck them all just for not very much meat on these little guys.
Right, and they don't really have the fat. And that is just nerves. That duck doesn't have a head. Pain is not pain until it hits the brain. Her head is removed from her body, therefore there is no pain. She is not alive. It's just nerves.
So he's got this first hen on the table, and this process is very similar to cleaning a chicken carcass. Once you go ahead and cut the skin away like he's doing right now, and this bird actually had a bit more fat than we were expecting, but getting close to winter, I think they are starting to put on fat, which makes sense, you know, hibernate. Stay warm, you're going to eat less, and you need fat to keep you warm through the winter as you get leaner. So Trent's just going ahead and he's cutting the breast off of the bone as close as he can, and it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some meat left over. Ideally you want to cut as much as you possibly can, but you know, things happen. Now he's going to go ahead and remove the legs, and again he's just cutting away that skin. He's going to, you know, just make sure he gets everything disconnected there, and it's like a light fatty tissue. And he's got it clean so he can cut down to the bone, twist, pull, boom, legs off. This is very similar to cutting a chicken leg, except you do have some down feathers obviously to deal with, and you'll have to do a little bit of cleaning up with your knife just to disconnect any extra tissue or tendon that might be there. And he's going ahead and removing that other leg, as you can see, and you just got to find that joint. You got to make sure everything is nice and disconnected and wiggle it around, and again cut back those feathers and then cut off that foot there at the end.
Somebody just woke up, so things have changed a little bit as far as filming goes.
Now the second Muscovy hen that he's about to show you guys, we're actually going to try and scald. You can check out the video that we just recently did on butchering for unwanted roosters, and we showed the process more in depth of scalding them and how the feathers came off, and that was a very different process, as you're about to see, from what our experience is going to be in scalding this duck. We have never done this before as far as scalding them. We always cut out the breasts and the legs, but we figured we'd give it a shot because we wanted to see how difficult it was, even though I've heard a lot of stories from the Amish that we've dealt with who butcher ducks, and they've got a lot of hands, a lot of helpers, and you can see why you need it, because this is a long process to remove these feathers. It's extremely messy, and ultimately you're going to be left with these big pin feathers that are extremely difficult to get off the bird. I would say impossible even. So he's going ahead and breaking this duck down, and this is like identical to breaking down a chicken at this point. The parts are all relatively the same. You're going to cut away from the neck here to get everything disconnected and cut out the esophagus the same way you would a chicken. And then this is how you cut the cavity open at the back, making sure you remove the oil gland on the back of the bird. And then just go ahead, feel around, and you're going to slowly pull all the organs out. Again, I recommend checking out the video we did on butchering roosters, as it's going to just show this process a whole lot more in depth and I think a little bit more detailed for you. But at the end of the day, once you take the feathers off of a duck, it looks a whole lot like a chicken. So he's just checking the carcass, making sure he gets the lungs out, which are the last piece that comes out, and the esophagus that he just removed fully as well. So we've got the lungs, the neck, and also the heart here, nice and healthy looking, and the liver.
Here's that adult Muscovy hen that we processed initially with the legs and the breast meat from her. And then you can see that much younger Muscovy hen that he just took care of and just finished up on. And this one is obviously a lot smaller. We got these pin feathers to deal with. Obviously a lot less meat on it because of the age difference, but that was a lot more work. It's still definitely not ready to just be cooked because of all these feathers, so we still got quite a bit more work to do on it. And that's what it looks like. Those are your two options as far as how to process. We'll put the meat in here and then bring it in the house, wash it all again really good, and then go ahead and get it in some fresh water with salt to brine in the fridge overnight before we freeze them. That's your friend, guys. Sorry. She was a good duck. She had a good life. So I just want to real quick touch on something. This whole idea of cutting the breast and the legs out of a bird and leaving the rest of it. I'm sure there are going to be people who say that is wasteful. And to an extent, sure, it is wasteful. We're not consuming every single scrap of meat on that animal. We're leaving the organs inside of it. This is a common practice among people who hunt waterfowl like ducks and geese, is field dressing, just cutting out the breast, taking the legs, leaving the rest of the animal. Nature is going to take back anything you give to it. So when we go and we dump all these feathers, these bones, these carcasses, these, guts and the carcasses of the birds that we cut the breasts and the legs out, we go and dump them in our fence row, guess what's going to happen? Coyotes are going to come, raccoons are going to come, possums are going to come, foxes are going to come, and they are going to consume everything for the most part, other than obviously, bones and feathers of what we went and dumped out there. So there really isn't any waste. So all in all, nature is going to provide and nature is going to take, and whether we take all of the animal or we take a part of the animal, it's not going to go to waste. We are the ones that are raising these animals. We are the ones that, accept the responsibility and the seriousness of taking a life. And we don't in any way feel guilt or shame in deciding to cut the breasts and the legs out of the ducks. And I just want to kind of share our opinion on that. I'm sure there will be, people who will complain about it. But if you have raised these animals before, or if you've ever duck hunted or goose hunted, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So make your own choice. We showed you, a couple of different ways that you can process your Muscovies and the pros and cons of both of those. So make your own decision, do what works best for you. This is what works best for us. They're just so curious. They can't help themselves. They gotta know what is going on. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you found this video informative or helpful in some way. Let me know if you have questions down below. I'm sure there are going to be some of you that don't agree with some aspect or another that you saw in this video, and that's okay. Again, we raise these ducks for meat. That is a personal choice that we make. They have a great life. They are living, you know, as nature intended as much as possible. And, you know, death is as much a part of life as living is. That's a lesson that you learn as you get older in general. And that's certainly a lesson from homesteading or farming or whatever you want to call it. Death is on the homestead. It's always going to be here. It's always going to be a part of raising animals, whether you eat them or not. You know, even if you have animals just for pets and you're vegetarian or vegan or pescatarian or whatever the case may be, you're going to have animals and they're going to die. They might get killed by a predator. They might die of old age. They might die of disease. Animals are going to die. And, you know, we choose to eat animals for meat. And there's certainly a great responsibility that comes with, you know, taking a life. And there always should be, whether you hunt or you fish or you kill your own, you know, animals that you've raised from babies. You know, it is a serious thing. I mean, you're taking a life, but these animals had a great life and they only had one bad day, and we get this beautiful, healthy, nutrient dense food to eat, and we're okay with that, and that makes us happy.
It's only been dead for like 20 seconds.
That is freaky.
So you've butchered Muscovies before, so what is the difference between that and a duck? Or what's